to West Coast Grandma. Well, I love my garden right now. It is flourishing, everything is growing so quickly, I'm starting to get produce. So I just thought I'd bring along a glass of my kefir water that I make and just show you a couple of things in the garden. I love my sign there, fresh produce, because it really is fresh produce. I'm feeding my family, my son's family. They're all getting lettuce and onions and things out of the garden right now, as well as my neighbors. So it's kind of nice to be producing and being able to share. Okay, let's go in and take a look. This is my little greenhouse that I had my potatoes growing over the winter, that experiment where I got actually almost 22 pounds of potatoes just from potatoes that were sprouting in my own kitchen, and I popped them in here, covered them with row cloth, closed up my little greenhouse, and at the end of May when I harvested them, I had 22 pounds. So here we have all kinds of varieties of peppers, and actually there's a few with little peppers on already. This is right outside my little greenhouse, Delicia squash. I love to grow them in these big pots, let them ramble around. They stay separate because I know they do cross-pollinate, but they look kind of pretty here right in the entrance to my little greenhouse. In behind I have lots of onions all the way down there with my nasturtiums and a few marigolds, good for the garden. And these are Chicago pickling cucumbers, so I'm hoping to get a pretty good harvest from those. In my hoop tunnel, I did put a couple of peppers. I wanted to try them and see how they do in there, but I've just been finishing harvesting this lettuce. It's just on the verge of being totally done, so we're gonna get busy and pick some of that, take it over to my neighbor Holly. Here I have another squash right in beside my little hoop tunnel. Look at that in there, spaghetti squash. Pretty good. And right in behind, we have turnips, Swiss chard, more beets. And in behind is my pumpkin patch. I try to kind of get them growing over top of my compost there. Then I keep trimming the ends off to try to get all the goodness into the pumpkins that are already forming. So that works well. This one here is a volunteer. I hated to take it out, it looks so healthy, so I'm just kind of trying to train it over the side. Back at my entrance, I planted a bunch of flower seeds, just calendula, there's some cosmos, there's a few different things in there. I had a dahlia, which I thought wasn't going to come up, but actually I see that it looks like it is coming up. So that's always a pretty corner here. There's some frilly daisies in that pot. Just a few things. There's a couple of sunflowers that I started from seed, and all my chamomile, which I pretty well harvested most of the flowers now and dried them for winter, for tea. That's time, and this is what I call my lettuce bed. As you can see, it's an old bed here. And there's onions in the back, more lettuce, of course, and I put an extra tomato in there. I have lots of different kinds of mints, so mint is something we use a lot in the winter, again, for tea. Here we have some Savoy cabbage. Just look at that. I'm going to be able to harvest it pretty soon. It's kind of a nice treat again to have cabbage, but we love the Savoy cabbage. So we'll just continue on down this way. That's my bed that had all my asparagus, and I'm just letting that go now. So that is Iranian squash that's hitting from that big pot over there, and I'm just letting it grow on this bed because I'm not putting anything else in there. There we have lemon bergamot for tea again. That one's peppermint. I have, just like I say, a variety of different mints that I use to make little mixes for tea. Borage, I let them come up wherever the bees love them, and they look so pretty in salads. And of course, this is all my tomatoes. They are doing so well. I put a couple of odd Skywalker cauliflowers in there that were left over. And all the way along the front, I have my onions. No garden is complete without my patch of garlic, and I just picked all the garlic scapes and I made pickled garlic scapes, which are so delicious. I can sit and just eat a jar of them. So I did all those right away, kept a few in the fridge just for cooking. There's one or two more on there that I missed, which is good. If I make a stir fry or something, I can come and get it. So that's my garlic patch, and look at my black currants. I'm gonna get in here and start picking these. It's gonna be a huge harvest. I'm so happy because, like I say, these are so good to put in the freezer. There's a couple of onions I let go to seed. I like to do that with the odd ones. A couple of leeks and a couple of onions, let them go to seed. Here, right beside my black currants, I have a small patch of potatoes. And this is my little herb garden with oregano. What else is in there? Sage. Let me check out what this one is here. Oh, a lovage, which tastes a lot like celery. I'd never tried that before. In front of that patch, there's what's left of my rhubarb. It's pretty well done for the year, but I just weeded all that. I'm going to put some more compost in there pretty soon. Get them kind of set up for next year. And look at my peas. These are shelling peas. Those are 6-7 feet tall. So we always love to get a good harvest to put in the freezer. Okay, we're going to go back. And again, huge raspberry patch. I put these raspberry plants in at the beginning of last year, and they are just spreading like crazy. They are in a raised bed because I know they do spread. In fact, one came up in the blueberry bush and I cut it right back. There's my carrot patch. They're all doing really well. And over on this fence is snap peas. Again, another thing that we love. And in front of that is all Brussels sprouts. So I did get those in with hopes of being able to have them maybe for Christmas. And that is a perennial basil plant. So that's kind of interesting. Here we have some kale. Huge. And a bit of Swiss chard. I started these inside, so these are things that are ready now. We've been eating, and beets we've already been harvesting. And there we have broccoli. I think we have a big head of broccoli there. Look at that. And these are my beans. These are French beans. Unfortunately, one of them got eaten by the slugs, but that is another variety there. And then these ones are my Blue Lake pole beans, which I found are the most prolific and we love, and they last and taste delicious right from the beginning to the end. So I'm happy to have those all growing again. And last but not least, more cucumbers. I've got a few different varieties. I've got zesty green. I think that's those ones. And these are Early Fortune. They all kind of look the same right now. Armenian, which I don't usually have luck with, so I'm kind of excited about that one. And this one is called Homemade Pickles. So we got a good variety of cucumbers coming and a few cabbages again in behind. And this big patch here, I had a daikon radish that started going to seed and I left it. And another little one in behind. There's 2 plants there. And there's probably about 100,000 seeds. I'm just waiting for those pods to start to dry out. And luckily I was able to just sort of bend the whole thing over top of the edge of my raised bed, because it was growing all over the broccoli in there. So this has worked out perfect. Another little random borage. Alrighty, I just love it right now. It's right before all the work starts when you feel so overwhelmed, but it's also a time when everything looks lush and you can definitely come and get yourself a meal or two. It's perfect at this time of year. Well, hope you've enjoyed this little look at my garden on one of those days when I just love to walk around and just be in here. So hope you've enjoyed. Hope you'll check out the rest of my channel. I will post a video on making my homemade kefir water. It's delicious. West Coast Grandma is signing out.